What's up, ASTROVILLEans? We're back. So this is season 2, episode 7. Unfortunately, so we were live at 9 o'clock. Okay. YouTube decided to kick us because we violated their terms of service. Now, I'm just going to let y'all know that's absolutely not true because their terms say we can't handle firearms live. And we didn't. What we did was we did a pre-recorded segment teaching about firearms and safety and how they work, the differences between them. Now we're just going to talk about this stuff. We don't have any guns on the table. As you can see, there's nothing here. You know what I'm saying? It's just clean. If you were here earlier, you saw the firearms. And so here's the thing. The terms of service, they say we can't handle or be touching firearms on a live broadcast. That's why we pre-recorded it. We had a phone sitting right here with the time to show proof. I wasn't even in the same clothes. So it was a completely different thing. We weren't touching any firearms live. YouTube, you're a punk for that. And we're coming after you, okay? So we're still going to talk about this because this is stuff that needs to be talked about. And obviously, y'all don't want us talking about it. So we're going to talk about it. So I got my man D. Come back to us, D.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, man. Oh, I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad
Thanks
you're
for
here.
having me.
Yes, and I appreciate your in-depth knowledge. For those of you who were watching the live when we were teaching about guns, we will post that on Rumble where they appreciate free speech. YouTube hates free speech, and so YouTube, you can go and just fill in the blanks. So you know what? We're not gonna run back that whole scenario. There was a few important things that we were talking about. So the media likes to talk about the AR-15. They call it an automatic weapon, right? Automatic is referring to fully automatic, which means that there's no gun here. YouTube, it's just my hands, okay? This is just a couple of fingers, okay? It's not a real gun. YouTube. So, with the fully automatic, or what they refer to as an automatic rifle, means when you pull the trigger. Am I getting kicked right now? Because that's when they kicked us, right? When you pull the trigger, when you squeeze that trigger, it fires, okay? Just from one trigger pull. A semi-automatic weapon, you pull it and one bullet comes out, okay? So the media has been lying about this, and this is important because for a normal citizen like me, it's illegal to have a automatic rifle, okay? You can't buy them unless you have a particular license. So that being said, the media can kiss my booty, and YouTube can also do the same thing. So, that whole segment, I hope y'all can catch it. I'll try and link it on Rumble or something. I don't even know. They might take the video off if I even post a link to us handling firearms. So we'll see what happens. Before this episode, we haven't been censored on YouTube. We have on Facebook. YouTube has not censored us until now. And now I'm taking it personally. So YouTube, we got some problems. So D, I wanted to bring you on because you got some notes here, and I wanted to talk about how the media is portraying guns and gun violence. So can you kick it off?
Yeah. All right. So, how's everybody going? Nice to see y'all. Well, y'all see me, I can't see you, but you know what I mean. It doesn't get talked about that this whole conversation of guns and gun violence does not get a lot of like airings on TV because of politics.
Yes.
Because when you start bringing up guns, you start bringing up the amendment.
Yes, Second Amendment.
You know, and a lot of people don't like to put politics in everything, so they don't talk about it much. And nor do they talk about proper handling of a gun. But they will be sure, they'll be really sure to post on the news about a school getting shot up.
Yes.
Or a cop killing somebody, or a gang violence where bystanders got killed.
And just so everybody knows here, the Second Amendment, it says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And this is not just for protection against, people coming against you. This is the whole purpose was really because England was not representing the people that were living in America. They decided with the Declaration of Independence that they would become an independent state separate from England. England didn't like that. They wanted control over America. So in our Constitution, the reason why we have the right to bear arms is not just for protection against other countries trying to invade or personal protection, but very important, it is so that we could protect ourselves from our own government. Because if they have guns and we don't have guns, and first of all, the government is supposed to work for us. There are employees, there are representatives. And so if they have all the guns and we don't have any guns, and they start taking power little by little, then what can we say? We can't even defend ourselves against our own representatives.
Yeah. And if you can't defend yourself, you're like a sitting duck, just sitting there like how they used to do back in the day. You line up, one straight line, they fire, what can you do? How can you fight back? You gonna go and get pitchforks, shovels, sticks? There's nothing you're gonna be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
So the Second Amendment, and like we said, the Republicans are actually the ones that's like, yeah, no, we're not going for stricter gun laws. The Democrats are the ones that's pushing for it, but they're not even getting a lot of votes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy. Like, the Democratic Party is the ones that's not getting a lot of votes. And you could try to do gun control. You could try all of that, but there's no way you're gonna stop. No way. I can't even see that happening.
Now, I want to explain this in layman's terms because I love your shirt, by the way.
What?
Your shirt.
Oh, that's the forefathers. Hold the ARs, man. Hold the ARs.
Yes. All right. So I want to put this in layman's terms. Okay. Make this as simple as possible. If the government starts passing laws that starts removing guns from citizens, right? From law-abiding citizens. The essence of a criminal is to break the law, right?
Yeah.
So if the law-abiding citizens obey the law of no firearms, the people that disobey the law, criminals, are obviously going to have the weapons because they don't obey that law.
No, and there's so many ways you can, like, there's dirty guns all over the streets. Mm-hmm. And they're getting snuck in from wherever. They could get snuck in from Russia. They could get snuck in from Mexico, Cuba. They could come from all of those places. And there's guns, the same with the drugs. They're all getting smuggled in. And who has those? gangsters, mobsters, cartels. Everybody have guns. And on the black market, honestly, guns are the highest like bid. And people are constantly buying them, Ooh, I want this gun. I want
guns,
that gun.
Drugs, and human beings.
And human trafficking.
Yep.
And it's coming to the point to where you don't know if when you walk outside your house and you kiss your family and say, hey, I'm going to work. I love y'all. Y'all have a nice day. You don't know if you're coming back home that day.
Because people will have guns regardless if it's legal or not. So of course it would make sense that the populace would be armed, because like I said, if there are guns on the streets and people with bad intentions have those guns, because it's not like, I mean, the government is not sovereign. It's not like they pass a law and then all of a sudden all the criminals, they go into, you know, their little gun safe or wherever they keep their guns in. They're like, where'd my gun go? Oh, that's right. They passed the gun law. Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
They don't disappear. Like, they're still going to have those guns. So we need to have the right, and we have the right? But they are pushing so hard to remove guns from the hands of law-abiding citizens.
And that's not fair.
It's not.
Because I know that by any means necessary, I will protect my family.
Right.
I will protect my family, my household. That's my job. As a man, that's your job.
Exactly.
There's women out there that live by themselves. You know, they have the right to protect themselves.
Yeah.
And you want to sit up here and say that we want to try to take away guns, but then, like you said, it's the criminals out there. They're gonna have a gun. So what is everybody else gonna use to protect themselves?
Yeah.
What, ADT?
A gun is like you seen The Equalizer?
Yes, I love it.
I love it. So the gun, it's an equalizer. Let's just say you got a woman, right, by herself, no man to protect her, and of course, you know, people aren't gonna like this because I'm referencing the differences between men and women because they're different. So of course there are women out there that have training, they can protect themselves, but you take an average woman and you take an average man, put them in a ring. The woman ain't coming out looking very pretty, okay?
Oh no, unless she Ronda Rousey.
Yes, Ronda Rousey would whoop my ass. But I'm talking about, let's just talk about the averages, because of course you're gonna have many scenarios where a woman is able to defend herself against a man, right? But that's not the majority, that's the minority, right? So if you have a man, let's say a rapist, and that woman that's alone, right? The man on average would be able to take advantage of that woman unless that woman has a gun. Now you can say, well, what if the man has a gun? Well, now they have equal chances of survival in that situation. Now it equalized the situation. Instead of two unarmed, a man and a woman, the man's he's gonna do what he wants. But if they both, or if the woman has a firearm, now she actually has a chance getting out of that situation. So it's not only the fact that criminals are going to have guns regardless, but if we take away guns from ordinary citizens, you are putting women at risk, unnecessary risk.
It's funny you said that too, because what a lot of people don't know, and this is per the CDC.
Okay.
Per the CDC, a break-in occurs every 26 seconds. Every 26 seconds. And that adds up to $2.5 million, not $1 million, but 2.5 million break-ins every year. Now,
wow.
Out of those, 38% of those, 38% of assaults and 60% of rapes occur during home invasions because most of those invasions, somebody's home. So you take away that right. Now you're leaving that woman vulnerable to rape. How can she defend herself? How can she defend herself? Oh, well, they can still use pepper spray. Come on, man. Pepper spray don't really work on people like that. Like big dudes. I seen the videos. How many times has a cop pepper sprayed a guy and he was so big and he just kept running at him? Or did they tase him? And then they tased him. And he's still running at him. Sometimes it just makes people mad.
You don't know if they're on bath salts.
What? Exactly. And like a crazy person, man, they're the smallest things like amuse certain people. Oh, you just pepper sprayed me with pepper spray. Oh, do it again. You know what I mean? Like, that's how some people are. You don't know. And without a proper gun, you know, because once they step foot in your house, you're entitled to self-defense.
Yes.
You're entitled to self-defense. Some states, some areas, you know, shoot to kill. Mm-hmm. Shoot to kill.
That's what was that's what I had an officer recommend to me in Colorado.
Yeah.
When I lived in Colorado, there was a type of break-in. Okay. I was wrong in the situation because I was messing with a girl that was married. Horrible thing. I was told that it wasn't their situation was done, right? It wasn't the case. So he tracked her phone, came through. My roommate answers the door and he busts through him, comes to my room, busts through the door and comes at me. We had a little scruffle and then I pulled the Ruger from my top drawer and I don't ever want to hear that sound again. A man crying for his life. Now he thought he was coming to whoop my booty, but this man could have had a bullet in him. And I told him, get out of my house right now. I didn't want to kill him, you know. I was ready to, but that's not my heart. And he left. So thank God that situation ended.
And I remember,
but the officer, I want to tell you that the officer told me, shoot to kill. Because if that man, like I was living in the basement, got some stairs. If he busts through my door and he fell down the stairs and broke his leg, he can sue. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even though he broke into my home. Mm-hmm. So the laws in different states are crazy and you really should be informed, and we'll probably go over some of the Florida stuff in a little bit because that's probably where most of the viewers are at in Florida. But Florida, I thank God that we have laws that we do, and I'm hoping that we push towards constitutional carry as well. But in Florida, castle doctrine, you can have your firearm in your home. You can have your firearm in your car. And it's also a, what is it called? A stand your ground state. So you don't have to worry about, like, I have to try and get out of the situation. You know, if someone's coming at you and your life is in danger, you suspect that your entire life is threatened in that moment, you have the right to use a firearm to protect yourself, to defend yourself, your home, your family. If you're in a vehicle and someone tries to break into your vehicle while you're in it, you have the right to defend yourself.
Yeah. And that's what so when I was living in California, similar thing, had a break in, and I fired a warning shot. And
sorry, I want them to hear you.
I fired a warning shot and the officer told me, he was like, if somebody breaks into your house, shoot them in the leg, shoot them in the arm, there's a possibility you can even go to jail.
Why is that?
And that's like the weirdest thing. And I even asked that same question. And he was saying along the lines of, they can try you for attempted murder.
They can press charges.
They can literally press charges against you. And, you know, in the military, when we're taught to kill, to make sure we know they're dead, any veteran will tell you 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, to make sure you're dead.
To completely eliminate the threat.
Exactly. We don't got to worry about you trying to come back from a bullet to the head. We don't care if you 50 Cent. Okay? But that's just, it's the laws and the justice system is not the same wherever you go, especially when it comes to guns. And
that should tell you something. That should tell you something about how they want control. That's the whole purpose of removing the guns from the hands of the citizens and having all these stipulations like YouTube, for instance. We're over here trying to teach people how to properly use firearms safely. We're trying to teach people so that they're able to research for themselves, go figure out, go to a range, rent a gun, go have a friend, a veteran friend or somebody that knows guns, teach you some stuff. That's the whole purpose of why we were streaming this in the first place. And they want to remove the stream, even though we did not violate the terms. That's sad. And that should tell you something. They are pushing. And you could say this. You could say, well, YouTube is a private company, right? So they're not messing with your First Amendment. That's government, right? They're not messing with your First Amendment right to speak freely. And they're not messing with your Second Amendment right to bear arms because they're a private company. You're on their platform. So they could do whatever they want. Just like if you come into my house, I set the rules. But here's the problem with that. It's not just a private company. And you can see this with the drops that Elon Musk has put out from Twitter. If Elon didn't do this, then we would have had no idea what was going on in the background of this social media company. And this is not the only one. You have these people in government, the chick that does the communications for the White House. It used to be that white chick that had the red hair. She looked kind of like Chucky. And then now it's the black chick with the curly hair with the French name. That's a French ass name. And listen to her talk. Like, it don't get any faker than those two women. It don't get any faker than that. And you hear them talk about, we are hoping and asking these social media companies to remove disinformation or misinformation. We're asking, who decides what is disinformation? Who decides what is misinformation? You think it's just these companies by themselves? No, it's not. They are in bed with the government. They got an unholy alliance. It's disgusting. So no, it's not just, it's a private company. And a lot of libertarians will be like, yeah, that's not an issue because, it's private. But let me tell you something. It's not when the government has their hand up YouTube's booty hole telling them what they're going to allow and what they're not going to allow. So it is messing with our First Amendment and our Second Amendment rights. 100% is.
Yep, it is. And when you take away, when you say you want to take away guns, or let's say for example that the law did pass, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say the law passed that they could take away guns.
And it's not far out because they're trying to put these laws on the table in different states.
Yeah. So imagine the chaos that will take place in America if they did that. It'll be a war amongst the people, a war on the government. And
because you'll have different factions. You got these right-wing extremists that are like, no, we're not going to obey that law. We're not doing it because you are absolutely tearing up our Constitution, the whole foundation of our country's existence. If you take that right away, and you got people on the right that are going to say, hell no, we are not going to obey this. Then you got people that are criminals that are just going to be like, I don't obey the law anyways, right? And they're going to take advantage of the people that are on the left that are like, okay, yeah, we don't need the guns. We'll call the police.
Yeah. How long do it take for police to get to certain houses?
3 minutes to 3 hours.
Unless you're in the hood. You know, like, yeah, it's so if they were to take away, and like I said, it'd be an uproar. It really would. It really would. And people will go against each other and everything like that. There isn't enough men in the U.S. military to literally take over the United States. Not with everybody who has guns.
No.
Texas
Texas against the U.S. military.
Like, Texas alone, the boys over there don't play. They don't play. And we've seen it from when President Trump was doing some of his rallies. How many times have we seen people openly on the streets during those protests holding up semi-automatic rifles?
What, in like Texas?
No. Just around the U.S. Remember when President Trump was doing his rallies when he was running for president, and it was around the whole aspect of blacks and whites and all of that, and then I think it was the Black Panthers got involved, something like that, and they had they will show the protesters, and you will see a lot of them with guns, blacks and whites. Semi-automatics, handguns. I thought I saw somebody with an MP5. You know, and I'm like, bro, there is no way you will be able to tell everybody to turn in their guns. Because one, you won't find every gun. I'm pretty sure there's somebody that, oh yeah, you can take these guns, but in their backyard, dug up like 6 feet somewhere, they got a whole arsenal. Like, everybody has that one family member. Everybody has that one family member. If something goes down, I know where I'm going to. I know where I'm going. Yeah, come on. You know, everybody has that one family member. And you cannot sit up here and tell me that you will take every single gun.
Not gonna happen.
It's like literally impossible.
But that's why what they're doing is they're slowly inching their way forward. Just like this video, we started the podcast, we got kicked and we weren't even violating the terms of service. It's stuff like this. They're taking little space at a time. They're gaining little ground at a time. So, and that's what you see in these states where they are closer to passing these laws, because they have this ideology. They've been pushing this rhetoric to the people through the media, and unfortunately, people that are on the left. Look, I love people on the right, the left, the center, wherever you are, and there's crazy people on all the sides, okay? It's not like there's one side that, they're correct. No, there's the Republicans, they're a lot of them are screw ups. The Democrats, a lot, and most of these people are liars anyways, but a lot of the Democrats, they're just there for control. And it's sad to say, but a lot of people don't think this stuff through. Like, you really think that if you get into a situation, you're getting robbed, like, you're gonna call the police? Like, you're walking down the street with your girl, and you got a couple people come up to you with a gun talking about, let me get whatever you got. All of that necklace. I like those shoes too. You're gonna call the police? Is that really like, we gotta think this stuff through, people. We gotta think this stuff through. The guns are the equalizers. And if everybody is carrying a gun, then people are gonna be less likely to come and rob you, because they're like, well, if they started going the other direction, instead of saying, let's take away all the guns. And if I'm not just pulling this out of my butt, go research for yourselves. There are American politicians. Beto O'Rourke was one of them. Go look into this stuff. They are telling you, Beto O'Rourke, I forgot, he was trying to be the governor of Texas.
I think so.
Hey, let me quote him. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15s. Really, Beto? Really? You're going to take our AR-15s in Texas? Is that right? No, you're not. But they're really talking about this. It's not just something that's far off in the distance. They're inching their way forward. Day by day, they have strategy. This is what their strategy is. Gain little grounds at a time through ideology, through the media. Let's scare people. Let's talk about that. How are they trying to scare us? All these school shootings.
And you want to know what about the school shootings and the mass shootings?
Tell me about it.
Do you know that that's only like not even a full 0.25% of the total amount of gun violence?
It's not even close to a quarter.
Not even.
Okay, but you know what they don't include in mass shootings? Gang violence.
No, they don't. No, they do not. And here's the thing. Don't take away the guns from the law-abiding citizens, but I'm all for you taking away guns from stupid people.
But how would you vet that? How?
And that's the thing. You can never vet it, because how many people done did a mass shooting and claim to be psychotic?
How many people did a mass shooting and was already being watched by the FBI?
Exactly. Like, don't let it fool you, people. The CIA, the FBI, y'all probably watching this.
Yeah, and we know you are grooming people.
Yeah, you could see what anybody say on their phone. You could see what emails you hear everything. You're the government.
Go look up Prism.
And you can't even stop certain things. Like,
you could have.
I was about to go somewhere deep, but I don't even want to do that.
No, go ahead.
I don't even want to do that.
Go ahead.
Because didn't they say that the government knew about 9/11?
Oh boy. Look, I'll be honest with you. Like, people can do their own research, but watch the way those towers fell. Just watch the way they fell. Okay? And then go look up plane crashes into buildings. Go watch some videos of planes crashing into buildings, and then go watch some videos of building demolitions, and you tell me what it looks like.
The government right now remind me of the Romans in the Bible.
How so?
They come, they tax you, try to take your money, whatever you want. They try to show dominance.
Mm-hmm.
They want to try to bully us and try to control us.
Mm-hmm.
But they really can't. They can't. They can try, but they can't. Like, America is one of the most prosperous, most free countries on the face of this planet. But are we really free?
Yeah. And that's the issue, because, we have a set of laws, right? But the issue is that, you know, if everybody has to abide by these laws, cool. But the issue is that you have a lot of people that they're on a different track of laws. Like they get leeway. I've seen so many videos of politicians and police officers getting pulled over, DUIs, right? Yep. And every single time they're trying to tell about their authority. Like, come on, man. Like,
and you got some officers that's actually good. That's like, I don't care who you are or what you are. You broke the law.
Exactly.
I seen
and then captain comes on scene. They're like, go ahead, take off.
Yeah, and then how does that make that one officer that's actually trying to make change? How does that make him feel? How does that make him feel? You know what I mean? I had a friend of mine. She was a cop, and we all were riding. Me, her, and a couple of our other friends. We were all riding, and we seen a police car, a Melbourne PD car, go by fast, drive right by us fast. Then all of a sudden, we seen another police car come right out. Melbourne PD cop come right out, lights on, and we sitting up here like, okay, well his lights on, but the other guy's lights on is not on. He ended up pulling him over.
Both Melbourne PD?
Yeah. Like, you can get pulled over for going too fast in a squad car by another police officer. You know?
Bet, but how many officers are actually doing that?
Probably
and how many
probably
officers?
That one.
Yeah. And you know what? That's what's sickening and ridiculous is that people that are in positions of authority, even though they're supposed to be our representatives, they get off on things that us little pawns, you know, we don't get that. Like, I mean, we see it all the time. How about Jesse Smollett? Is he in jail? I mean, come on. This man faked a whole hate crime.
A whole hate crime.
And then got busted. And he's not in jail?
Ain't that the one from
that show?
Empire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he just got kicked off the show.
Oh, he lost his job. He faked a whole hate crime, national media all over this thing.
And just got kicked off the show.
Come on, man. And this is a free country when people like that get let go, slap on the wrist. But people like you and me, if we tried to do that, how long will we be in prison? He'd probably like prison anyway.
It's all about money, man. If you got the money, you pretty much get out of a lot of stuff if you got the money. I'm going to go on record and say this. I still think OJ did it. But hey, I'm just saying.
And what's his name didn't kill himself either.
Who?
I forgot his name. You know, the guy that killed himself, and like the video camera for that area just happened to go down for that little time. Nobody went in there and killed him. What's his name? Y'all know who I'm talking about.
I'm trying to think about.
Yeah, Epstein.
Huh? Yeah, it was trying to come to me, but I remember that video, but I could not. That name would not come.
Yeah,
and I was honestly, when you was going there, I was about to say Tupac. I was like, wait, Tupac didn't kill himself though, but he probably faked his death, but he did kill himself.
So man, it's crazy how I think the sickening part of it is how the media portrays all this stuff, like especially this one about police officers are out hunting black men like they're deer.
Yeah, you got a point there, but it is like stat wise shown that a black man is more likely to die by the police than a white man. Even a brown man, as they call them, brown men, Latinos and you know them, are more likely to die by the hands of a police officer with a gun versus whites.
We could pull up the FBI stats. That is not correct.
And now the FBI stats for which years?
Okay, they stopped tracking.
Exactly.
they stopped putting the stats out.
They did, and it's just, you know, we're going back and forth on, oh, well, these cops are triggering blacks, and they're all Black Lives Matter and all of that, right? Mm-hmm. We talking about that, but we not talking about our own killing our own.
Okay, talk about it.
We not talking about how we got drugs and prostitution and gangs out there on the streets killing our own. I'm black. I'm proud of it. I won't change it for anything in the world. I love my heritage, huh?
Could you change it?
Nah, I don't think. Wait, can you?
I mean, if you could change your gender.
I would never change my gender. Hey, look, my fiance is pregnant, and I do not want to go through what she's going through, okay? I can't even fathom that thought. So, yeah, listen, why would you say that?
Because people are doing it, bro.
But I'm not Kylie Jenner, whatever her name is. His name, he, she.
We're going to get kicked for that because you called him a she, or she a him.
I don't know, bro. That's
Caitlyn Jenner. She is a woman.
What? Come on. Did the Adam's apple get removed?
They probably shaved it off a little bit.
Come on. Either way it go, her voice is still deep. Okay.
Hey, and he don't even play with this.
Just said he.
Whoops. Sorry, Bruce.
My God. Yes.
But I'm saying, like, I mean, according to them, like, it doesn't make any sense. You could change your gender and you could be born a man and become a woman.
Yeah.
You could be black and become white.
Michael Jackson did it.
That is true. You got a point there.
But in his condition, some people said he had a skin disease. I don't know, but the guy looked like an alien. We all knew that too. Like, look, his nose and everything. But there's some things, huh? Sammy Sosa. But you want to know what? There's one thing that they can't change.
What's that?
In between their butt cheeks and in between their thighs, right up under the nutsack. You cannot change that. You cannot change the color right there. It's hard to. It's there.
Oh no! We gotta get Mike an inhaler. You good, bro?
Oh my goodness! I wasn't expecting that one.
Hey, he told me we keep it blunt here. I'm gonna keep it blunt.
Look. I'm just gonna say, look. I said this in season 1. Please don't have your kids watching this show because we don't know what's gonna happen. Okay.
I think you need to start putting rated R at the beginning.
I tried to tell him. I'm trying to. I should have had this stuff prepared. I'm so sorry, man.
No, but
look, I'm gonna go off of memory, right? Oh, look, here it goes. Let me see here. So, we got most frequent. I want to see by race. That's what I'm looking for, is by race. But let me see if I can find it. Either way, I'm gonna go off memory and just say that officers are 9 to 18 times. I know that's a stretch. I know it's a wide range, but I just don't remember off the top. 9 to 18 times more likely to be killed in the line of duty by a black male.
That too.
Than a black male be killed by an officer.
And you want to know why? I blame music videos, movies. What we call cops? Pigs. Mm-hmm. If you're a cop and you're watching this show, please forgive me. I don't call you a pig. I support you. All right. Taxpayer dollars. Remember that.
Yes, we
do. But no, they call them pigs. So if you got stuff on you, when they see a black guy, when they see a black man most people think, especially if you walking with your butt showing, what are you portraying? What do people think you are?
Homosexual.
Well, that's for those who don't know, okay? My grandmother told me this, that if you're walking with your pants down, that was a sign in jail that your butt was available for taking. So you will never see me walking with my pants down because my butt is not available for taking. but no, they see that, they automatically think you're some kind of a thug, hoodlum, gangster. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people want to be that because they think it's cool. That's why we have so much violence, because you're doing stuff that you think is cool.
Yeah.
Instead of you actually going and getting your education and taking your behind to school, you want to sit up here and try to be cool. You want to sit up here and look like the next. But what happens when that next is in a grave? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going to ride for mine. Yo, go get my 4.5. Let's go handle this right now. I can't even tell you the amount of times. Prime example. I was 13 years old. Back then, I don't know if you remember, but they used to have Mike probably remember too, they used to have the Juneteenth up in Merritt Island.
They still got the Juneteenth.
In Merritt Island? They still do it?
Oh, I don't know if they got it in Merritt Island.
Okay, well, it used to be a big old thing. Well, I was up there by myself, and a lot of people knew I was from Melbourne. I got jumped. Up there in Merritt Island.
Dang.
By like 10 of them. Got jumped.
What do you mean by them?
By Coco. Because back in the day, Coco and Melbourne was like a big rivalry. Mm-hmm. You know, and like every time they met, it was always a fight breaking out. It was always a shooting. It's not like that now.
Coco was nuts.
Yeah. And so I made a call. And when I made that call, I ain't putting no names out there because that's not me. But when I made that call, all I know was I was sitting in the car, and then I heard bass, and then I seen at least 8 cars pull up, and they all were deep with at least 5 people in them. They went in, they came, they seen me, made sure I was straight. They went in, didn't even say anything. Swung on the first male they seen. Didn't care if he was the one that jumped me or not. Swung on him. Bow. And then after that, they were outside the car dumping. I had friends that was hitters. I have family members that's hitters. I had that. Where I can make a phone call and say, yo, hey, I'm about to do something stupid. Nah, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I had that. I still got that if I wanted it. But I let that part of my life go.
Yeah. But why? Why don't we use that no more?
Why we don't use what?
The opportunity.
To have somebody disappear?
Yeah.
You know, some people still use that opportunity. But then you got people like me who wants to see good in everybody now. Everybody was brought on this earth for a purpose. Mm-hmm. You wasn't brought on this earth to die by a gun. God didn't create you to say, hey, all right, let's get this clay going. Let me make that nose, them eyes, that mouth. All right, you gonna be a nice built man. And then in 13 years, bow, you gonna get shot dead. Boom, right there with a gun.
You gonna look like spaghetti sauce.
I'm pretty sure he did not do that. I'm pretty sure he probably up there in heaven like, you aren't supposed to be here right now. What happened? I got shot. You got shot.
Why weren't you carrying?
You got shot. What was you doing? I was just a bystander. But yeah, still the man who shot you gonna still be living for 60 years. He probably mad.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I got a tough question. All right, so it's like people like you and I, our intent is not for people to die. It's to bring life, right?
Exactly.
So how do we marry that with the fact that we also carry and are ready to defend our lives with the firearm?
You want to know the truth?
Yeah.
We pray first.
That is so true.
We pray because sometimes you got some of the people like me who was in the military who was like, God, I pray you don't let him come through these doors, but if you do, I pray that my aim is like precise. You know what I mean? And you like, as soon as you go through, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? But it's hard to tell because as Christians, we go by the commandments. Thou shalt not murder. But God, what do we do if there's somebody coming to my house with a gun and my family is there? You say that I'm supposed to protect my household. Now, back then, you know, when all that was going on, they had slingshots. You know, I'm pretty sure somebody probably put a rock in a sling and slung it at somebody and killed them because they was probably messing with their wife or their daughter or their son.
All right, yeah, but let's slide over to the New Testament though. Like we got a lot of these Christians that were martyrs, right? That that were eaten by lions, got crucified and got killed because of their faith, right? Mm-hmm. And they didn't fight back.
No, they didn't. God say what? Turn the other cheek.
Mm-hmm. So here's what I think the big difference is, right? I believe that we do have responsibility to protect our family, right?
But is it to a certain extent?
I think this is where the line is. And I think, man, you brought up such a good point. You were kind of playing around, but man, it's not a joke praying like, God, give me wisdom in this situation because I have no idea what's about to happen.
Yeah.
But I want you to guide me, whether it's my aim or my mouth, whatever it is, lead me in this situation, you know? And it's like, if there's a situation where somebody is trying to attack you, with your family, you know, this is where for me it's hard to say where I draw the line. I don't know. It depends on the scenario. But it's like, if someone's trying to kill me, am I going to protect myself? Like, I'll protect my family for sure. Am I going to protect myself? But it's like, who's going to take care of my family if I'm dead?
Exactly. And us in the military, what do? When we get shipped off to war and we got to fight for their freedom and we got to kill somebody, you know, that is one of the hardest things a military guy can do. Your first kill is traumatizing. Unless you're a psycho. Unless you like a true psycho and you just one of them hound dogs that's just like, let's go! Ah! You know, unless you one of them. Your first kill is traumatizing. I'm going to tell you a story. I was in Afghanistan and we were patrolling. Captain told us to get down. A little boy and a little girl. Little boy and little girl. Little girl was holding some kind of stuffed animal. My scope wasn't that long of a range for me to see it, but they said she had a little stuffed animal. And they were like, what are they? They said they're scouts. Seeing wires. They took him out. Shot him. As soon as they fell, they both exploded.
Damn.
I had a kid one time tell me that it's a war out here in the streets and that he got to have a gun to protect himself. And I told him, I said, you have that right to protect yourself with that gun. But when you pull that gun, you better make sure you intend on firing that gun. Don't pull that gun just to show them like, hey, I got a gun. Yeah, I got a gun. Because you pull it on somebody like me and I pull mine and you still over here just flashing that you got a gun, I will kill you. Like that's how that goes. That's how it goes with military guys. Our first instinct is to see that once we know you got intent of killing us, then that's when we come. Then that's when we actually do the kill shot. 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. And I told him you don't wanna just flash. Mm-hmm. A lot of deaths, especially with kids, they're shaking. They're shaking, and their finger is on the trigger while they're shaking. So now they see somebody right there. They don't want to kill him. They trying to scare him, but them shaking, they pull that trigger. The gun goes off, or you so scared that you drop the gun. And what happens? If that gun ain't on safety, gun fires.
That's pretty rare.
It is rare, but it does happen.
It can. It's super rare though.
And a lot of deaths are from homicides, suicides.
Suicides is way up there.
Yes, suicide, especially with kids, 19 and I think it was 19 and younger. It's like 46%, bro. Of their suicides were with guns. If we can't teach our kids the proper way to handle a gun, we can't teach our kids that, hey, if you see a gun, always assume that gun is loaded. Mm-hmm. A gun isn't a toy. My son,
it's a tool.
My son, I remember I took him to the store and he was like, Daddy, can I get a toy? I said, yeah, go get a toy. So he goes, he picks out a little action figure. I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, we get that. He said, oh, I want one more. I was like, all right, fine. One more. That's it. And he goes and he picks a gun. I said, yeah, right. Take it back. He said, what? We could play cops and robbers. I said, no, we're not. Take it back. And then I explained to him why I told him to take it back.
Why?
I told him, I said, what is a gun supposed to do? He said, it's supposed to kill people. I said, yeah, you're right. That's what a gun does. It kills. Do you want to kill somebody? He said, no. I said, because that's mainly what they're for.
Mm-hmm. I had a similar conversation with my son, with the Zion. And so I talk to him very often about firearms. And I tell him what the differences are. You know, what I tell him, what do you do if you see a gun? I don't touch it. I don't touch guns. That's right. What do you do next? I tell you, or I tell mommy. Mm-hmm. And I don't touch it. I don't touch guns. He knows that. And so we were with my mom. They were with Grandma and G-Pa. And Zion talked about shooting G-Pa. And when I got to him, I'm like, what was that about? What is shooting do? And he didn't quite understand. I'm like, what does a gun do? It shoots. Okay, what happens when you get shot? You die. Do you want to kill G-Paw? He's like, no, I don't want to kill G-Paw. I'm like, that's what it means to shoot somebody. Now, if you're talking about a toy gun, if you're talking about playing, then you say, I got a toy gun. I don't ever want to hear you talk about you with a gun. If you want to talk about shooting toy guns, you better say toy gun, because they're not the same. They are not the same.
And my son's about to turn 6. He turned 6 in a couple weeks. Basically like a week. He turned 6. And at that age, that's when I know I feel comfortable with showing him this is a gun. This is a safety and everything, because if my son was to see a gun, I don't want him to touch it. But if he was to see a gun, he know what the details of a gun is. Mm-hmm. He knows the ramifications of a gun.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like my daughter, she's of that age right now to where I could take her to a gun range, teach her how to safely hold a gun, teach them now about everything there is to safety with a gun. Mm-hmm. That way, when they get older, they're not doing nothing stupid.
Right.
Most kids don't know a lot about guns because, one, either their family didn't own one. 2, they watching movies, mm-hmm. and you still see them holding guns like this. Everybody, if you own a gun or anything like that, if you know how to shoot, you should know. Shooting like this, that there's no accuracy.
Most
in that
people have done it just to try it.
Yes,
but they're like, nope.
Bro, I even tried it. I'm not gonna lie. I even tried it, and the way it goes like this,
you're just like, nope, that's not it.
you almost feel like that kid from Wanted where he goes like this and you try to make the bullet curve, you know. But I want my kids to know the importance of firearms and why they're not a toy. Mm-hmm. Like, if you own a firearm and you have kids, your gun should be locked up without the shadow of a doubt. Your gun should be locked up. A lot of kids die just by accidents alone, just by seeing a gun. And what they do, the first thing they do, they'll see a gun and they'll try to look down the barrel. Mm-hmm. And if you one of them parents that don't got your gun on freaking safety, and your kid looking down at the barrel, I don't want to see you crying at the funeral because your kid died because you was the idiot or the dummy that left a loaded gun on your nightstand when your kid was home.
Mm-hmm. And there's for every family, there's different scenarios. Like for me, my kid ain't strong enough. Neither one of them can pull a slide back on a handgun, right? So I know at this point to have a firearm available is important, right? Mm-hmm. But also to make sure that it's not available for children in any way. So I know if I have a loaded magazine, nothing in the chamber, they have no way to pull that back. I'd whoop their ass if I caught them trying to get to that gun, and they don't. Like, they know I don't touch guns. And every time they see me with it, when I put it away, when I put it on before I leave, like, they know. That's the first. I don't even say nothing about it. They see me with it, they say I don't touch guns.
But like, you got some of them people with them guns with the trigger where they make the trigger looser. No weight on the trigger. And most of those guns are stolen guns anyways. Where those guns where the trigger is so easy for you to just cock back. Mm-hmm. And then you have one in the chamber already.
Yeah, it's not smart.
You know what I mean? It's not smart.
Like right now, I got my kids with Nerf guns, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm teaching them the trigger discipline. Like every time I catch them with their finger on the trigger, Like, you're not ready to shoot right now. What are you doing with that? This is where you put your finger. And he's catching onto it. Kai is still on, like, Kai can't even pull the slide back on the Nerf gun. You know what I'm saying?
And that's like the basics that we got to teach them. Like, whenever you have a gun, your finger do not go on that trigger until you are ready to fire.
Exactly.
Your finger is always pointed out, rested up above the trigger, up against the gun. Rest your finger there. Because if you put your finger on that trigger, anything can make that finger go back. Anything. A bird could fly right in front of your face and you, oh God. You go let it go.
Shout out to my sister. I love you.
Oh,
sis.
Lord Jesus, what happened, bro?
So we were at the range, and I think we were both teenagers at the time, and she was firing a 22, and it was a semi-auto. One of the shells hit the partition after she shot and went down into her shirt, and she turned around blasting. Shot right between my legs.
Hey, I can't laugh, but
you did though.
I did. I'm sorry. Because I don't think a lot of people know the amount of pain. The amount of pain you get when you're shooting, especially an AR. You're shooting an AR and the shell comes out and goes in your shirt. See, when I was in the military, we had the battle dress, right? So when you battle dress, everything's closed, right? Shirt's tucked in. So imagine a shell going down your shirt. Your shirt's tucked in and it's just going down and you just getting burns all over your butt and your thighs and your legs. You come up and look like you got leopards. Like, it's that bad, bro. Yeah. And oh my God. I remember I said in the video, do not grab the barrel. A shell coming out of a gun to me is worse than grabbing the barrel.
It depends how many times you've been shooting.
True.
I mean, you shoot in Florida. You see the steam coming off of that thing.
Yeah. So now it's like you get hit. You like.
Yeah, it depends on the caliber, definitely. And then it like I fired my AR like within a month ago, out in Mims, and I went through 2 magazines, right? 1 223, 1 556. Probably can't tell you how many rounds were in the magazine, but they were 10-round magazines, okay? But the rivet, it might not be there. You know what I'm saying? So the rivet that stops it at 10, who knows what happened to that? So I went through 2 magazines, and this thing was just pouring out steam from the barrel. I couldn't even bring it inside my brother-in-law's car because the the paint that my dad put on the barrel was melting off, and so it was steaming with that with the chemical steaming too. I couldn't even bring it in his truck, and I was getting eaten by mosquitoes. I had to leave the gun outside for like 10 minutes to cool off. It ain't a game. You do not want to grab that barrel. And those shells are dangerous. You know, I've seen people trying to, other people shooting at the range and people trying to catch them as they come out. And then the first one they catch, whoops, not doing that no more.
Yeah, and it sucks. Oh, man, it sucks and it hurts. And especially if you get the one that just sits there and you hit like you just been branded. Yeah, it hurts. Like I even seen somebody when I was shooting at a range, I seen somebody gun get jammed. Like I seen the bullet sticking right up at the top, and they freaked out because they seen the bullet and they thought the bullet was coming back at them, so they dropped the gun. Oh my God, they dropped the gun, bro. And here's the thing, look, you gun guys at some of these gun ranges, please, for the love of me, make sure your people know gun safety or know a lot about guns. This guy went downrange.
No.
When people were still shooting, picked up the gun. He picked up the gun, bro. Picked up the gun, and this is what he did. First thing he did, now the bullet was still jammed right there. He emptied out the magazine.
Nice.
He emptied out the magazine, then he cocked it 2-3 times. Obviously the bullet went. And me, being the smart person that I am, and you know, the one that always like to call people out and like, you're an idiot, you know.
They shut the range down.
That's how I used to be.
They didn't shut the range down.
They did, but then I went up to him and I was like, sir, next time that happened, just hit the freaking bullet. He was like, what you mean hit the bullet? I said, okay, the gun's like this. You got a bullet that's sitting up here jammed. Just go like that. That's it. That's all you got to do. I felt bad at the end because he looked like he had Tourette's, because he was like, but I thought I did it. And I was like, oh.
Whoops. Let me back out of this awkward situation.
I felt bad, bro. I really did. I felt really bad. And, you know, but the manager came in, asked him, how much training have you had? Crickets, bro. Crickets. Do you really want to know how much training this dude had?
How much? 0? A YouTube video?
Nah, yeah, like 3 months. But he never worked at a gun range.
He was working there?
Mm-hmm.
He was working there and he did that?
Yep.
Oh, shoot.
That's why I said, man, like some of these gun ranges.
He better have gotten fired.
Bro, I think he got fired. I even think that gun range lost their license and everything. They had to.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And this was in Virginia. So
yeah, so I want to talk about some of the other lies that the media is putting out. For instance, like they talk about this gun show loophole, right? They talk about how you could just go and just anybody can just go and buy a gun, right? It's not that simple.
It's not.
Like there's already laws on the books that, first off, in Florida, if you're buying a handgun, there's a waiting period. Like you pay the money, but then you got to wait several days before you can actually pick it up. Unless you have a concealed weapons permit, then you could take it that day. With rifles, it's not the same. But it's they already have laws on the books, like if you're a felon. So like there's also background checks. Like if you're going to buy a firearm, they send your information to the FBI. The FBI is the one that says yes or no whether you're able to follow through with that transaction. So it's not like we don't already have pretty strict laws pertaining to purchasing firearms. Now, like he said, there's still a black market. You still can get guns illegally, you know, and people are doing that. And I think that people need to be able to have access to firearms. And I think we need to be able to talk about this on YouTube so that people can understand how they work. Social media, it bugs me, man. Like I hate being on YouTube, but you know, it's like, where am I gonna go to get this stuff out to people? I'm gonna post it on.
Can't really say it on Facebook either.
Man, I got censored on Facebook so much.
Probably doing it on Instagram Live.
I don't know, man. Maybe, but I don't think I have a way to stream from this program to Instagram.
Yeah, probably not. But it got to get out of there some way, somehow, because gun violence, we see it every day. And yes, there's people in community. Don't get me wrong. There's people in communities that's trying to make a difference. You know, holding gun rallies. Come drop your gun off. You know, they're doing that. I've actually seen one in real life, and it's actually pretty cool to see the amount of people that will come and drop off a gun. But what's not cool about that is the amount of kids that have a gun. I'm talking 12, 13. I seen it right there in Inglewood, California. And To see that was heartbreaking. Same in Afghanistan, bro. You got kids over there that's brought up at a young age, taught how to fight, taught how to kill. Like, a lot of people see movies, but they don't know that, like, yo, that's real.
Yeah. I mean,
it's
depending
really
on where
real.
you live, it might be a good idea to train up your kid, you know, getting to a certain age. And it's not just with guns. Like with my kids, we fight. Like we roll, you know what I'm saying? And Zion, he's getting so much better at this. I'll lock him up somehow, and he used to cry and scream, and I would just keep him there and be like, calm down. You're not in pain. You're not hurting. You're not going to be able to muscle your way out of this. You have to use your brain. Think, how can you get out of this? Form a strategy, but you got to calm down. And now he does. And of course I, loosen up a little bit, but I'm teaching him, you got to use this. It's not all about this. You got to use this. And so it starts with that,
Yeah.
Rolling with my kids, it helps them to know what kind of power they actually have, and what their limitations are. Like Kai, he'll, he's still wild, man. He'll, we roll and he'll like gouge my eye, that's not, there's the line, you know what I'm saying? You can't be gouging people's eyes out. So it's like that rough play, it's teaching them what kind of power they actually have. And as they grow and become stronger and we roll, like I'll give them push back more on them, and that'll help teach them, you can't, like, if they don't know what kind of strength and power they have and they're playing with other kids, like they could do some damage.
Yeah.
But if they know, like, okay, these are lines I can't cross because even like that hurts daddy, I can't cross this line, then it's teaching them that. And then also, we got these fake swords, these foam swords, and we fight with those things. It's fun.
I remember when I went and picked up, when I went to go get Shanae one time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you tossed me one. I'm like, wait, what? And then you had one, and we was out there sword fighting upstairs at Shanae and her
Like,
mom
what are
and
y'all
Missy
doing?
Vaughn. And they came out like, what are they doing? Just two big kids. Hey, look, if y'all haven't had the foam swords, like, you got to go get it.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun. That and them big old boxing gloves.
Yeah.
And just have fun as adults. Like, you guys don't know. Like, that's the problem. We don't know how to have fun no more because we're adults now. No, stop it. Go have fun. Go do something.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah. We man, there's something about having kids where it's like
They bring out the funny,
Yeah.
man. Like, my daughter, she does these little things that she'll do with her face and her body, and she, like, stuff like that. And I just be sitting there and I just be laughing, and because it's funny and it's cute because it's her own personality. My son, he does these little funny little things, and he'll come up and say, like the other day, he finally learned how to do a backflip on a bed. It was a front flip, but don't try to tell him that because he kept saying it was a backflip. Like, we was arguing for 5 minutes that it was a backflip. Okay, but it's their own personalities, bro. It brings out the kid in you sometimes when you're with them.
Yeah, when you're open to it.
Yeah.
And it's so important to be present, when you're there. Like, it's not enough to be there. Like, you got to not just be there physically, but be there mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like be engaging with your child.
Yeah.
And, I think that takes me to the book of the week. This right here. This is a game changer. I'm not getting any money from promoting these books, but I think reading is important, learning stuff. This is Raising Lions, right? So the guy that wrote it, he was a wild child, ADHD and the whole nine. And he started to, when he got older, he started to reel it in and started to realize like it can be something like a superpower if you get control over it and know how to use it. And so he's like, you know what? I'm going to go find these children and work with them. I'm going to find the worst of the worst, the uncontrollable type children, and I'm going to work with them. And he's had success in that career. And my wife was at work and somebody recommended this book because I grew up a wild child. And, you know,
my mama still tell me, sit down. Because I can't never sit down. I'm always walking, or if I'm on the phone, I'm definitely pacing back and forth.
Yeah, definitely pacing.
Sinead tells me to sit down sometimes too.
How? I can't do it. So this, I'm not finished with this book. I actually got to go through it.
Oh, I thought you was giving it to me for me to read.
I'll give it to you next. Look where I'm at. I got
Man, you ain't even halfway there.
I'm a fourth way. Look. This is why I'm doing it this week, because look, I'm going through it a little at a time because I'm implementing the stuff that I'm learning here.
Gotcha.
And there's something here that I think was really, really good. So I'll just go through this a little bit because you know, it's not about the book. It's about learning more about how interaction with children, how that affects them, right? So when they're growing up for the first 14 months, they don't even know that they're a separate being from you as their parent. They don't even know that you're two separate people. It's just oneness, right? Mm-hmm. But then they start realizing that you're a separate person, that you have a will of your own, and that you can exert force with your will against their will. Then that's when they try and fight you on it, because they're like, well, your will and my will don't line up, right? Yep. And so what the child is doing a lot of times is, what is that? Chapter 3, that's where I'm at. I can't forget that. So what they're doing is, he put it to the, he used this kind of metaphor. So when they're acting up, a lot of times it's like they're pushing with their hand, right? Mm-hmm. There's two reasons. They're trying to find connection, and they're trying to see the magnitude of their power. They're trying to find out what, how the extent of their ability of force is, right? And so what we should do as parents is meet them back there, confirming that they do have power and that we're connected, right? And so the way that kids are raised nowadays is like they're free to be themselves, let them do what they do. In the olden days, and mostly how I raised my children was on the more authoritarian side. I'm the parent, you're the child. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't no friends.
And so it's like it's not about meeting in the middle. It's about getting the full extent of both sides. Mm-hmm. So it's like you don't want your child to grow up just passive and with not able to communicate their will and exert their force. You want them to be able to do that, but you want them to do it responsibly. So you want to raise them up to be able to speak their minds and say how they feel and do what they want to do and go for what they believe in. You know what I'm saying? But there's also the connection, which is their will up against your will, and regulating that. You know what I'm saying? So that you can live together and operate together. So it's also using the authoritarian nature of, yes, you do have power, but I also have power. And your actions produce consequences, right? Yep. So this is one thing that I learned that I thought was super valuable. And I kind of was already on this page, but there was one particular thing that I thought was really, really good. So let me get over to it here. Timeout, right? We put our kids in timeout. This guy said now he's using the word break instead of timeout because the way that people see timeout is like this. Timeout, it starts with information, right? You tell the kid, you did this. This is wrong. Timeout, right? It assumes the lack of understanding versus a break, which I still use the words timeout because that's what my kids know. But he's trying to show like there's a different way to do this. The timeout should start with action, not information, right? Mm-hmm. You don't tell the kid, you did such and such, so now you have to go to timeout. You just say it's timeout. Because when you tell them first what they're doing wrong, you're assuming that they don't know what they did, right? Yeah. And they know what they did, right? So it's like, you send them straight to timeout. You don't even have to tell them what they did. That's what I do now. I don't even tell them what they did wrong. I say timeout. I set a timer. Let the timer go. They come out. So why were you in timeout? They tell me why they were in timeout. You know what I'm saying? I assume that they understand. Self-regulation is required. The timer doesn't start until you shut up. Mm-hmm. You got your hands up or you're holding the cans or you're in the corner or whatever it is, however you use your timeouts. You're not talking. You're not moving around. You're not throwing a fit. You're there, quiet, still. Then your time starts. So it's like they have control. They have the power at this point, right? Whether they're going to come back into the community or whether they're going to stay in timeout. A lot of times the way we do it is we do it with moralizing, especially with Christians. We say that was wrong. You shouldn't have done that. That's bad. That's evil. No, how about instead of talking about good and evil, we talk about actions and reactions, cause and effect. When you do this, this happens, right? So it's not anymore associated with their identity because we live in a culture when you say something does something bad, they're a bad person. You know, that's just how that's how we see things as Americans. So it's like instead of moralizing the situation, let's say Zion bites Ezekiah, right? Timeout. I might spank him for that one, but let's say timeout. He goes to timeout. Let me know when you're ready to start your timer. A minute later. All right, Daddy. I want to start my time. Quiet. 2 minutes. He comes out. Why are you in timeout? I bit Kai. And when you have this as this is your program and you stick to it, then now the child is learning cause and effect. And it's no longer about, is daddy around to punish me or catch me? It's when I do this, it results in this. And so that prepares them for the real world of cause and effect as well.
And the thing is that it's different when you got kids that's separated from their parents. Say like, you know, one kid, he lives with his dad, and then he goes back live with his mom.
Yep.
That is the hardest because you could teach them one thing, but then it'll go out the window when it's somewhere else. So if both parents are not on one accord, now this kid is growing up wondering, okay, is this right? Is this wrong? I get to do it when I'm here, but I can't do it when I'm there. Like my son, off rip, I don't even have to yell at him. He knows. If I call his name and he knows I'm mad, he'll start crying because he automatically thinks he's in trouble. And I just talk to him and tell him. Like I don't even remember. I don't think I ever beat my son. I don't think I spanked him yet. Nope. Wait. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. He said the B word one time, and I lost it. I was like, wait, what? And ever since then, he has not cussed.
Did he say it at somebody or just generally?
He said it. I think he was saying it at her friend or something like that.
Oh, dang.
Hey, bro, when I tell you before I got him, like he whipped out his little talawaka and slapped on top of the head with it. You probably thinking what I'm thinking when I heard that too. You know, as dads, you know, some guys, forgive me, but dads, we are different. Okay. Like our sons and our daughters can get away with some stuff with us than they could with their mom. Like we'll be in the back. Like it's really true. We be like, don't you do that no more. Yo, that was funny. So, you know, that's how we are. You know, like our kids come to dad for a safe go. Like, you know, safety. And to be able to come to us and talk to us whenever they need it. You know, if we can't show our kids that they could come and talk to us, then you already showing that you're already seeing that they're gonna start to resent you.
Yeah.
If they can't come talk to you, they will resent you. And I want my kids to be able to come and talk to me about anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was discussing it, and the way I grew up, I mean, not the way I grew up, but the way I was trained, don't show emotions. Emotions will get you hurt. I cut off my emotions and stuff like that. And I remember my son would cry. My son would cry and I would tell him, why are you crying? Stop crying. You a boy. You don't cry. It wasn't until my fiance told me that it is okay for our kids to cry. It's okay for them to come and cry.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know that this is a safe place where they can actually show their emotions, where they can actually cry and not hold it in. And then she looked at me and said, because if they hold it in, then they go look like you and be like you when you hold it in. Well, what's wrong with me? You know? but let them know that they could come to us no matter what it is and lay it out on the table.
Yeah.
And we go be there for them. We go support them.
Yeah, you know, with my son, I taught him, look, there's a difference between crying and whining.
Oh, geez.
You ain't allowed to whine in my house, boy. But if you need to cry, you cry all you need to.
They're whining, bro. Whining. I don't know what it is about whining, but whining gets to me too. It do. And like I've had,
because it's complaining, pretending to be hurt.
Bro, I had friends whose kids were whining, and I was like, bruh, you don't see what he doing? He's fine, man. You know, he's just a little hurt. I'm like, bro, that is not hurt. That kid is straight whining right now. And as a coach, I see it a lot. When players whine, what's wrong with you? My leg. You hurt your leg? Yeah. You hurt your leg because you don't want to go play football no more? Yeah. No. And then all of a sudden, you see them running on the sideline. But, like, parents know the difference between whining and crying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so happy I don't got to deal with that in my house. I'm so happy. Because I would probably go nuts if I had to deal with whining. I can't deal with whining.
The other thing that I was using before this book was the isolation. Like when you put your kids in timeout, it's a good idea to put them in the same room with you, because when you put them in, first of all, if you send them to their room, it's like, that's not timeout, that's playtime.
Oh yeah.
And then also it's like you're separating them. You know what I'm saying? Isolating them. So it's better to put them in the same room and have them either. And I do this. I don't always have the same type of timeout. You know, it's different per situation. Sometimes it's like I'll put the timer on. Sometimes, usually when it's whining, I'll be like, okay, timeout. If they're whining, timeout. They go to stand in timeout. I say, when you're ready, when you're done whining, come back and hang out. You're not in trouble. But if you're going to whine, you're going to stick your head in the corner. When you're done whining, there's no problem. Come out. We're good.
And see, you keep them there in the same room with you because, you know, it's teaching them that, you know, they're not separated. You're not separating them from the pack. See, there's a difference between that and the way I was brought up. My mama kept me in there just in case if my head was to go away from that corner, a shoe was flying towards my head. That's how that was. Like, there wasn't no, go to your room, you go into timeout. Nah, my mom was like, see that corner?
See,
go
that's
park
the difference between that authoritarian nature, where it's like, if you put your kid in the corner, right, and you make them stop whining, because you're gonna whoop them if they keep whining. If you know, and there's always a punishment to whatever it is, then you're completely authoritarian and you crush their spirit, right? But then if you put them in the corner, there's still this is the effect of what you caused, right? But when you're ready, when you're done, then you come out. Then it's like you transfer the power, the control to them. But you still have the control because you're the one that's setting the cause and effect. Yep.
And I don't get it. Like, that's what's wrong with some of the new generation today. Like, when we were coming up, I ain't gonna lie, a whooping saved me from going to jail. A whooping saved me from being dead, running the streets. Nowadays, boy, that's child abuse to the 3rd degree.
Mm-hmm.
You can't go and get your own switch. Tell your kid, go pick out your switch. Get suspended from
kids
school.
Don't even know what that means.
Get suspended from school.
My wife didn't even know what that meant.
What?
My wife was like, she told me about one of her friends telling her about that. I'm like, you didn't know about the Switch?
Wow. So I bet you some people probably think we talking about Nintendo. But
like, pick out your own Switch. That sounds lovely.
And like, a lot of people don't know that, man. Back in the day, those whoopings saved you.
Yeah.
And even though the alcohol burnt after it was all said and done, and they hit you with "this hurt me more than it hurt you" scene, that scene right there, I used to always get mad when they said that. Like, no, we gonna talk about this later. Like, how you beating me is hurting you. Like, how is that hurting you?
Now that I'm grown and I got kids, I know it ain't true.
Yeah,
it's like it's like I don't want to do it. Like, please don't put me in this situation. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go there.
Exactly.
But I hurt you more than it hurt me. Let's be honest.
It do. Only way it's probably hurt me is if I hit my elbow or if I hit something. Then it definitely hurt me. But then as a parent, now you done hurt yourself. Now you like, okay, you just made me hurt myself. That's how it was. Now you just made me hurt myself.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know where that came from. Because I mean, maybe it is for some, but it's like. And maybe I'm a psychopath, who knows? But it's like, I know that, you know, my children, if I let them run wild, I'm irresponsible. And they're going to grow up and they're going to go into a world and it's going to run them over if they have no discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, they go and pop off to the wrong person, they'll end up dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and right now they're at the age where it's like reason, it don't work.
And with young kids, man, their attention span is so short.
Mm-hmm.
It's so short that if you don't correct them right then and there, 30 minutes from now, they're gonna forget.
Yeah, there's
15 minutes from now, they're gonna
reason
forget.
to punish them later.
Yeah, there's no reason. Like, at that time, it's time for them to start jumping back off of bunk beds with capes on and stuff like that. Like, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
So,
if you can't deal with it then, Like people got issues dealing with their kids at the store, you know? It's like, I don't have an issue with that. I'll take them to the bathroom. I'll take them outside. I'll take them somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
What?
Bruh. You want to explain to me, please, why? I still want to know.
How you do it in the store?
No. I still want to know. I thought this was over when, like years ago. But I saw a baby, a little 3-4-year-old with a doggy backpack on, and his mama had the little leash, bro.
Oh.
They still got the leashes.
Oh man.
And you want to know what? It wasn't a white kid. It was a black kid. It was a black kid with a backpack and a leash. The world is changing. Jesus is coming.
I hope he wasn't adopted.
I don't know, bro. But I still try to find out, like, what's the whole purpose of that?
It's because people can't control their kids. Like, they're scared if the kid starts wilding out. They
go get embarrassed. They go feel embarrassed.
Well, you should feel embarrassed got your kid on a leash. Like, but if you feel like you can't control your kid, like, if I felt like I couldn't, I would be worried about my kids, because we get into the street. Anytime we're in the street, I tell them, you stand right next to me. You don't go nowhere. You stay right next to me, right? Sometimes they get a little far. I say, hey, they come right back by my side, you know? And it's like, they got to learn that, because they're going to get run over if they don't, you know? But if parents don't know how to control their children, the kid runs off, going to get hit by a car. You put them on a leash.
What
else you gonna do?
My mom them knew how to control me. You know, I did get hit by a car when I was 6. You know, no, but that was, I wasn't with my parents. My brother decided he wanted to cross the street, so I was like, I want to go with my brother, and he ran across the street, and I tried to run like right behind him, but he was bigger, so he was faster. Now he's bigger, and I'm just faster, you know. But he just ran across the street, and I ran, and boom.
So that's why you're like this.
Not funny, bro. Not funny. I'm not like this. Okay, I had a few broken ribs, you know. I probably, but I'm just saying, like, you were right. Parents we have to know how to control our kids
without crushing their spirit. And so I think this will be a great tool. I'll let you know when I'm finished with it, but I gotta do little few chapters at a time so I can implement stuff, see what works for me and my children.
So how you gonna get that to me next week then?
It ain't gonna be next week. You said next week.
But you said next week earlier.
I said, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Whoops. I meant when I'm done with it. So we could probably pass it back and forth if you're actually gonna read it.
Yo, I would.
All right,
I really would.
Cool. Read up to chapter 3 and then give it back.
Oh, nah, you go ahead and keep that for right now. I got a lot.
So, all right. We're gonna wrap up here soon, but just to go back to what we were talking about, amendment number 1, amendment number 2. I just have to say again, a few episodes ago, I was letting you know, Facebook, about, the censorship is disgusting. And, we already talked about how, it's not just private companies. Oh, they're allowed to do what they want. No, they're connected with the government. I mean, you got big tech and government collusion. You got the media in government collusion. Mm-hmm. You've got big pharma in government collusion. I mean, they got their tentacles in every single area of our lives. Okay. So yes, it is encroaching on my freedom of speech and my right to bear arms. Today, YouTube, you did that.
Get them.
YouTube, we're not going to stop. And you can keep putting these rules out. And I know you're going to take little step by little step to try and censor people and stop.
Get them.
law-abiding citizens from sharing information on firearms. It's sickening, and you're wrong for that. And I cannot believe that you would lower yourself to that.
Lord.
We didn't even break the rules.
At all.
It was a stupid ass rule, and we abided by it.
Exactly.
And you took me off. How dare you? You know what you need? Who does YouTube? Is it Susan Wojcicki? Is that her name?
You calling her out, bro?
Little Susie needs her pants pulled down and get the little spankings. All right, Susie, I'm tired of you stopping people from talking. We're just talking. We're trying to figure stuff out. How are we going to know what the truth is and what's right and what's wrong if we can't talk about it, Susie?
Yeah, why you gotta shut us? Why you gotta shut us up, Susie?
So, Susie, I'm disappointed with you.
Yeah, he's disappointed. I just don't like you.
In Marky Mark, little Mark Zuck.
Mark Cuban?
Nah, little Zucky.
Oh.
Little Chucky Zucky. Did I just come up with that? I like that.
Little Chucky Zucky.
Chucky Zucky.
Rhymes with yucky.
Yucky Chucky Zucky. You need your little pants pulled down and your little alien bottom spanked.
Wait, he's an alien?
You didn't know that?
Bro, how many aliens we got, bro? I thought it was only Michael Jackson.
Yucky Chucky Zucky is definitely an alien.
Oh, got it. I thought Aretha Kitt was too.
If you never seen little Chucky Zucky, little Yucky Chucky Zucky on testifying to Congress, you watch that video. He's not human.
You wanna know who else ain't human? Bruce.
I thought you were gonna say Joe Biden. I was like, he was human. He just ain't alive no more.
Zombie apocalypse, bro. I told you, man, it's coming.
Yo, it's been real. Thank you, D, so much for coming through.
No problem, bro.
We will be back next week if we don't get censored again. So, YouTube, you know, you already know how I feel. So, but all you Astrovillians out there, thank you for coming through. And you know what? Support free speech. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, please subscribe to my channel, like and share. I don't care about none of that. What I care about is you thinking for yourself and speaking on it. Say what you believe. Say it in public. And even when they try and shut you down, start the stream over and say it again. We out.